Liverpool in the league, Scott.
Oh, amazing.
You've always been a big Liverpool fan, right?
Yeah, well, every, you know what I mean, growing up, and a Welshman, innit? I feel so lucky, right? People go, oh, you know, they always say, would you like to be younger and everything like that? I said, no, because I support Liverpool now because of Ian Rush. Yeah. If I was younger, it would have been, you know, it would have been...
What a player, eh?
Hughes or something. I'd be a Man United supporter. I'd be devastated.
I'd like to be younger, thanks very much.
Would you?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd take that, thanks.
I wouldn't. I'd rather be watching Ian Rush bang those goals in as a kid. It was
the scenes at the end.
What?
Scenes at the end, amazing.
Are you going down on Saturday?
I am at Chelsea. Saturday,
Liverpool, Chelsea. So guard of honour for Liverpool.
Ooh, that's going to be horrible.
You are.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean. I'm not going, obviously, because we got Palace. I think the last game where we lifted.
I stand up as much as possible at football matches because the seats are so small. I'll be giving them a guard of honour.
Right, car shares, guys. Katy, did you used to share car lifts with anyone?
Yeah, so I used to obviously live in Newcastle. There was 4 of us used to come down there, and one of the girls, Tamara Taylor, used to drive. She had a tiny little, it was like a Fiat 500, and back in the day, we used to have to take our own, you know, the tackle suits?
Yeah.
Used to get to take them home to practice your tackling. Yeah, no.
What?
So you've got 2 second round, 2 second round.
Sorry.
What? So literally, they were like, instead of 4 of you in the car, there was 8 of you in the car with their tackle suits on.
But because I was the shortest, I had to sit on the most.
Oh no!
Like the inflatables, or it's a knockout.
It literally, so you used to have to sit on 3 tackle suits folded up.
That is the strangest thing I have ever heard. You have to take your tackle suit on.
Did you guys not do that?
Honestly, I didn't even put my tackle suit on when I was training.
Well, listen, we used to have 5 in the car, but as you remember, it was an amateur game then. So when I first joined WASP, there was 5 of us in the car, but the only way we had earned any money was submitting our expenses. So you got 4 guys getting out of the car 200 yards from the club.
The Wasps.
The president, John Langley, wouldn't see 5 of us getting out of one car, and then the following week get 5 expense forms in the back.
Expenses was one of the best way of upping your money.
We used to do that. I hope nobody's
20p
listening.
a mile or something.
20p a mile?
Yeah, well, it was probably about 10 back then, or 5.
I think we got 15 back in the day, 15p a mile.
When we played for Richmond, there was 4 or 5 of us that used to go down, and then obviously if you drove, you got your expenses exactly the same. And if it came to a traffic jam on the way down, we'd all phone. We'd go, yeah, unfortunately we're in a traffic jam. I'm not sure if the other boys have phoned you, and then we'd pass the phone around and we're in I'm not sure if the other yes, they've all phoned. And we were like,
remember Gerald Arasa?
In the back.
Lol, you might remember him. He played wing for Saracens. I used to have to pick him up. He never drove. Pick him up from like Holloway Road on the way to games, and he got in the car like right next to me. I was driving, and I looked at him and I could see sort of glistening in his hair. And I was having a double take. I said, Gerald, did you go out last night? He went, no. I was like, oh. I was looking at him again going, Gerald, are you sure you didn't go out last night? He goes, no. Why are you saying that? I said, because you've got a load of glitter in your hair and your beard. He goes like this, he looks at me and goes, Shanks, mum's the word, right? Yeah. And then for the remainder of the journey, for 30 minutes, he's trying to get all his glitter out of his hair. so no one would know.
I know now why you drive us around all the time. You're so good. But next week, can you wear a hat?
Yeah,
please.
That'd be cool. And next week, can you bring a tackle bag?
It doesn't really hit you that there's a World Cup around the corner until you step off the plane in France and we had the marching band and you get there, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is real.
That last 5 minutes of that game, you put a kick up that, if I'm honest, could have been a bit further. And then...
Yeah, well, welcome to the pod. Welcome to the pod.
With the World Cup on the horizon, it may be not a bad thing to actually have
100%.
had a bit of a test.
It must be hard because they're just so good. The one sport I have considered a switch to is the AFL.
Do you reckon it's harder when it's some of your mates that you're getting dropped for?
You either compete with someone else or you compete with yourself.
You must get a little bit disappointed when a fly half gets picked in your...
Yeah, I think that was,
Marcus Smith.
Best friend in rugby?
As of today, my best mate, Leon.
Pressure's on it. 1, go.
I think this is actually some of my best work right there.
Do you actually say to Steve Borthwick, you do realise I can play 12 as well, or...?
I would never say no to that opportunity.
Right. It's intense.
I'll play you sing.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're doing the show now. We're doing the show.
Apparently. And Jack in the production has made tiffins. Is it?
They look beautiful.
If you had tiffins gone, you can...
Before, well, he may want to sing. You know when you get chocolate on the palate. You know what I mean? You might want to sing.
Why, but Shanks has put a guitar in.
Can you play the guitar?
I certainly cannot sing.
On your Wikipedia.
We have put you properly.
Is that what it says? That I can play the guitar?
Well, it will do after we finish this.
We put you under serious pressure there. It's like your first match of the team, right? Kick a goal.
He went home to get it.
God, I haven't played. I'm trying to.
Well, listen.
I can strum a few chords for you.
I mean,
I recognise that.
Shanks,
I haven't tuned in.
Shanks, you just sing along, man.
Shanks did lean on me, and he was hoping.
He's the serpent who guards the gates of hell.
That's about all I got. Wikipedia's lying to me.
Honestly, that's...
Scotty, can you play?
Can I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And I heard you playing in the...
You heard me play it
earlier.
Well, I've only got.
Look at the side. That looks like a ukulele. Looks like a banjo.
I've only got a couple of. I need a bigger guitar.
Wonderwall.
This is what I do.
You're putting me off. Look at me in the eye. Right. It's intense.
I'll play. You sing. Right, put it away, Sharks.
Right, let's put it away.
Wowzers.
We tried. Anyone else want to go?
No.
Before we start, what was your song? Because you see these days. Did you do it?
Sing, yes.
I wouldn't want to be capped.
What, because you wouldn't want to sing?
No, I got the worst. I've got the worst voice in the world.
I don't
So
know,
you
mate.
didn't
I've seen you
sing?
do a flash mob in Paddington Station.
Yeah, but that was a national anthem.
Scott, you've also got one of the loudest voices as well.
I have.
And you're Welsh.
Everyone
Like
can
it's-
sing.
I'm a quarter English, and it's all my
Everyone can
voice
sing.
box.
If you're Welsh, you can sing.
I can't.
I agree.
Genuinely.
It's just a thing. It is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It wasn't a thing when we were there. We discussed this before. You'd always have a drink with your. But now, if you get your cap, you sing.
What was your song, Freddie?
My song was... I was capped in... I think we played USA and Canada while the Lions was on, so there were a lot of new caps. So fortunately, there was about 20 songs. I wasn't the only one, because that's when it is terrifying.
Yeah.
Hard, isn't it?
But also, there was like 10 lads before me who had done quite well, and then you're thinking, oh my God, I've got to follow up that. The Euros was on at the time, so I did the Whole Again Atomic Kitten. I put the Southgate twist on it.
Oh, hang on. Funny enough, we've got that backing track now.
And the lads got singing along, and that was nice.
Oh, brilliant.
But initiation-wise, that's good. And then the other thing we do is, when there's a new cap, it's sort of still going. Everyone has to have a drink with a new cap.
Oh, it's still going.
Still going.
I'm delighted to hear that.
So I remember Ollie Chesham, we played Italy 2 years ago. Oh, there must have been 30 drinks he was having, and the lads were stitching him up. There was a red wine, then there'd be a shot of something, then there'd be a beer.
Yeah, that's normal.
And I dragged him to
That's
his room.
good to know.
Slept in his room, had to babysit him because I was genuinely worried he was. Yeah.
Oh, so you're so caring.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have given a shit, would we, really?
Stretching out the dinner. Who was the best first cap song you've
Best
heard
first
then?
cap
Since you've had to.
song.
There must be a couple of good singers.
There have been a couple of good ones. Tommy Freeman was very good. He did a little rap.
Did he?
There's one that Johnny May whips out all the time, which wasn't his initiation, but he does the hip, hop, hibby.
Yeah.
He knows the whole thing. The Sugar Hill Gang or something like
That's
that.
right, yeah.
He can do the whole thing, 7 minutes or something, knows every word.
I am Wonder Mike, and I'd
That's
like
the one.
to say hello.
And there we are.
Come on,
Right,
then.
Black, purple, and yellow.
right, well, we've got Tiffin, because Jack's made these.
They're lovely. I've just tried one.
Did you?
Yeah. Didn't see.
Go on.
Come on, Freddie, you're allowed,
Go on.
you're allowed. No one's watching.
say, yeah.
No one's watching, it doesn't go out.
It's a very good chocolate to biscuit ratio.
That was good.
Oh, wow.
That was really
Yeah.
nice.
To the point where we
Sweet.
don't think he made them. He's got to prove it. I think he's got to actually do
I
a
think it-
step-by-step
Sweet.
video.
I don't
guide
think he
next
made
time.
them at all.
I think his mum made these.
We decided we'd have a drawing challenge. So there's a blank piece of paper in front of everyone, and you've got Sharpie somewhere. And you've got to draw a picture of the person to your left. And
Oh, really?
That's that way, mate.
And you have 60 seconds. All right?
60 seconds.
I'm not being funny, it'd be easy this way.
Why does that mean I'm
It's just
doing
an egg on legs.
Thank you.
Right? You're messing around. Okay. Right.
Pressure's on it.
1, go.
Really?
Listen, it doesn't have to be that. It's not that difficult. Oh, I love it.
Right, I'm drawing Scotty Quinnell. Scotty's drawing Freddie. Freddie's drawing Lol. And Katie's drawing me.
Got 60 seconds, as long as it.
I think this is actually some of my best work right there.
There we go.
You better be kind.
course I'm being kind.
Oh, no, hang on.
no.
I need a bit longer. He's only got one arm.
He's only got one arm.
I've had a shocker here.
Oh, so Shanks, you are.
4,
4, 5.
3.
That's not how you.
2.
Katie, that's not how you draw Voldemort.
He's really tall.
That's terrible.
Oh my God!
There's a World Cup trophy there. And a rugby
I love how you put lots of
And I've
kisses
got
just to get around it.
I didn't realise you've got to draw a body. I just drew a head.
Actually, that's very good. That looks.
Do you know
like,
what? I've had worse than that, and I've paid for.
That looks like Scott when he was about 19. You see, how much stuff?
Looks a bit like
He looks like a Beano with a shandy.
That looks like something off the Viz. Who's the guy off the Viz?
You look really angry.
Am I that angry? Am I? Oh, Scotty boy.
Well, you knocked him out on the weekend, didn't you? So, but and you've never ever dropped the ball. So you got massive hands. And this is in because he's 6
It is a
4
little bit of
and
a
you're
liking.
6'5".
I like that.
You just put Scott's thumb up there and just put. That's very good. Right.
Scott's thumb with a bit.
Right, well done, the top
God.
job.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
look, does Voldemort look like that?
That's not bad.
I think that's. I give you
Honestly.
biceps.
You give me eyeshadow.
That is Uncle Fester. that is Uncle Fester.
Freddie Steward, but can we have your full name? Because I read Wikipedia did tell
do you
me
really
that
want this?
you can't play the guitar, but you have. Well, listen, it could be worse.
shocking.
Bruno Nero Dallaglio. So there you go.
Yeah, but that's got a bit of pizzazz to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit, mine's
Go on.
Frederick Nicholas Overbury.
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 That sounds like a defender that's been pimped up.
Also sounds like someone
Range, the Overbury.
The Overbury range.
Sounds like someone who's had enough for cheese. Oh, I'm Overbury.
It's shocking, isn't it? I think there's something on my dad's side. It's
What is over? I mean, it sounds like it's some sort of long lineage of royalty or something.
I don't know. It's dad's side.
Family name.
It's all the boys in my family, brothers, have the same thing. It's terrible.
Oh, it's nice. No, but it's nice though.
But it's nice, yeah, it's nice. It makes you, doesn't it?
Do you know what my first name is?
Ah,
Do you know what my name is?
go on.
Scott.
Leon.
Right.
Don't laugh.
After the assassin.
My
Sure.
Leon Scott Quinnell.
Did you not like it?
So why are you Scott then?
I didn't. Why Scott?
Yeah.
Because I
Why
was
not
called Leon for 3 weeks, and then my father went, nah. So I was then called Scott. Yeah.
Right, well, listen.
Fine.
Just to get you warmed up, Katie's going to ask a few.
Quickfire questions. Yeah.
Yes, supposed to be
Okay,
quickfire.
so some of these are from our producer Sam. Some of these are actually from the community as well. So, I wouldn't be the rugby player I am today without.
Jamie Taylor, old academy coach, taught me discipline, hard work, all those basic things. And without him, wouldn't be where I am today.
He'd be phoning you for 10%, mate.
Yeah, exactly. 10.
The player you loved watching growing up.
Lee Halfpenny, loved him.
Oh, nice
As a
one.
fullback, yeah, brave as hell when he put himself everywhere.
Most inspirational coach.
I will go Kevin Sinfield. Should be Sir Kevin Sinfield.
Yeah.
Legend of a bloke. Run through brick walls for him all day long. He's a legend.
Sporting hero.
Sporting hero. Very topical. Rory McIlroy. As of a couple of weeks ago, because I 11 years of pain, hurt, and to do it as he did, some boy.
Words that you try and live by.
Just be happy. I just like enjoying it. That's just, you got to be positive, haven't you? When you're not being positive and enjoying it, you might as well not bother. So yeah.
Fair. Funniest teammate.
Funniest teammate, Elliot Daly. Love him to bits. He always brings positivity, energy. He's a legend.
Best friend in rugby.
Best friend in rugby. As of today, my best mate, Leon.
Have another tip. Another tip.
Toughest player you faced.
Toughest player I've faced. I will go with Finn Russell. Bit of an odd one, but as a fullback, when you're up against a fly half with all the tricks, he's a nightmare to play against.
Does he
So I'll go with
give
him.
it a bit of...
A little bit. It's just, you never know what you're going to get with him. That's the hardest thing. You know, other fly halves, you think, well, I get this. With Finn, you just don't know.
I got to be honest, I think he does, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
See, you don't know, do you?
Such a strong act.
This one's from Michael Goody. If you could change one thing about your journey into rugby, what would it be?
Oh, I wish I'd played more positions. Because I sort of played... Oh, you never know, do you?
Well, with a 6-2 split on the bench now, you're
I know.
playing every position.
I know. I played 12 and then 15. That was it. Really. I'd love to have done a bit more. Maybe even been.
Are you going on? No, are you going? Do you fancy another position?
Whatever would get me in the team, I'll happily pursue and work at.
I said that once, and then they played me tight then, and I went. I was thinking more backwards than forwards.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that.
I didn't sign up for that.
It's a different sport, actually.
It actually is. Yeah.
Best day on a rugby pitch?
Best day on a rugby pitch. Winning the Premiership final. Just if you could bottle that emotion up and sell it, it'd be priceless. It was a class day.
Which football team do you support?
Norwich City.
Ooh.
Go on the Norwich.
Go on the
Canaries.
Canaries. The Canaries. Yeah.
Favourite player from that team? Norwich City.
Well, he's left now. Timu Pukki. He was the man up front, banging in the goals. Bit of a legend.
Yeah, he was finished.
First car you owned?
First car, banged up, 2008 Ford Fiesta, nice blue one, little bumper car. Used to knock into the back of my mates at traffic lights. It was class. It's what you need, isn't it?
We don't condone that, but we like it.
If it broke down, you could leave it on the side of the road and buy another one.
First car? What's your first car?
Renault 9, little Renault 9 Turbo. Yeah, Renault 9
Knew
Turbo.
it. Knew it. Hanging around a McDonald's car parks, revving.
What was yours?
Donuts, actually.
Oh God, what was it? A Black Rover.
A Black Rover. Sounds like a dog.
Yeah, but it was a car.
It was a car.
Yeah.
Black Rover.
Black Rover.
Gold Beetle, old school.
A gold Beetle. You went high straight away.
Yeah, I was handed down from my sister. But I souped it up. With a Pioneer sticker on the back window.
Pioneer.
I can just see you with stickers.
I'm thinking XR3i, 2i.
No, I actually had 1.3 Escort body, 1.6 Sport engine. It was absolutely rapid, but it had no flow in the back, so it could only me and one of my mates could come, because the other boys, it was literally, you could, when it rained, it was soaking in the back.
Wow.
But, brilliant car. Brilliant car.
Good.
Favourite movie of all time?
Favourite movie of all time? The Departed. Oh, love that film. Love that film.
Scorsese, wasn't it?
So good.
Favourite holiday destination?
Bali. I went there last summer.
Good
Unbelievable.
one.
Oh, that's up there, isn't it?
Beaches, sun.
It's like a find yourself holiday, that is.
A little bit, yeah. You know what? I've always criticised those people. I went there, I thought, you know what? I could get behind that. So I can see why it happens. They go there. It's just nice, yeah.
And then the final one is from Triggles. Did you win any money at Cheltenham?
Did I win any money? I had a terrible Cheltenham festival along with the rest of the.
And what day did you go?
I went on Gold Cup day.
Oh, okay.
And I actually won the first cup of race, and there was this banker in the Gold Cup galloping the Champs, and I put everything I brought to the festival on that horse, and it came second.
Yeah.
And I was gutted. But it was a great day out, nonetheless. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love
fun
Cheltenham.
stop, but I was still having fun. It was good, yeah.
Stick to Rugby is brought to you by Defender. There was some rugby at the weekend.
Yeah, big news.
There was.
England won the Grand Slam.
Indeed.
Just. What a game, Katy.
Yeah.
I thought England started off like on fire.
Bright, weren't they?
But it was that Zoe Harrison drop.
My God. I don't know if
Which
I'm
got
honest.
France back into it.
Yeah, I don't think that was Zoe Harrison's fault. if I'm
No,
honest.
it wasn't. But
Give Mo had a bit of stick
gifted France a try, but talk us through the game.
Yeah, like you say, England started super brightly. If I'm honest, like the opening 25 minutes or 31 points up, and I was like, oh man, we're not going to get a game. France are done.
Darwin Sim scoring.
Yeah, Sim that we'd seen throughout the tournament, and then all of a sudden, like you say, France saw a little bit of light, changed a little bit of what they were doing, went through the middle of England, and then after that, we found ourselves in a bit of a test match, or England found themselves in a bit of a test match until it got to 42-43 with literally one play left on the clock.
Yep.
And then France don't receive the kickoff and it's done. But up until that moment, it was great. It was everything that the women's game needed. We needed competition. We needed some.
Yeah, because England had dominated so well all the way through the
Also,
tournament.
they don't really get tested, England, because everyone they played. So I think it may be, with the World Cup on the horizon, maybe that game, the second half of that game, I know you wouldn't wish it, but it maybe not a bad thing to actually have
100%.
have had a bit of a test, and more importantly, to have had that test, but then come through it having won.
I
Do you think it was complacency?
Nah, I don't think it's
they went too far
complacency.
ahead?
I think
No?
some of it for me is like how quickly you adapt to changing circumstances. They speaking to the girls, they prep one way, France came out and did something different, and I just don't think they could stop that. And I think that was probably a couple of the tail of the Ireland game again. Like, teams are going to try and find little bits where they can get after you. How quickly can England adapt to that, change, solve problems, and go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Have you guys got? I mean, do you follow Red Roses?
Yeah,
You watched it. I mean, I know
100%.
Jamie George has done a bit of training, etc. But do you guys?
Yeah, I was just thinking then, you talk about it, like, it must be hard for them to, because they're so dominant and they're beating everyone, to continue to stay motivated and still being on top of your game every week must be hard because they're just so good. Yeah. But like you say, it's great to see a proper ding-dong.
Yeah.
What about
close game,
Scotland?
I think they needed a win. They had 3 home games, they lost 1. Ireland have probably been the inform side after England. A massive win for Scotland. I think, look, their opening World Cup game is going to be against Wales. It's going to be the thing that decides whether they get to a quarter or not, if we're honest. So I think they needed to finish on a win to kind of save their tournament a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
Not going to mention Wales, are we?
We're not.
I feel so sorry. Again, I feel so sorry. But they've had 6 years of being professional now as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're coming in.
They're professional before Scotland, and they were professional before Ireland.
Yeah.
And those 2 teams have now overtaken.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work for Shanklin to do. I think, look, we've chatted about Wales in greater detail across the union. I think the women have probably been the lower end of that, if I'm honest. So I think there's a lot of work to do. It was a pretty comprehensive beating by Italy.
Second half, we've started games well. You know, we started well, we got into games, and it's just gone away from us, isn't it?
The good thing is, even if the Wales women don't do very well,
The men
are doing it.
They fly the flag, aren't they? Really.
What I did like was the crowd.
So what
When
teams have
Roses
done
played
okay?
Wales, the crowd that they had at the Principality was class.
Oh, it was a crowd.
Yeah, and it's good to see they're all getting behind it.
Yeah.
So I know the results aren't going, but
The Wales 20.
It'll get there.
That's who we're backing now. Beat England.
Well, your mate, he's actually in post now. Dave Reddin.
Redding.
Dave
Yeah.
Reddin, yeah.
So he's come in. He's got that job. He's got the men's job. He's got the women's job.
Big job.
He's got and he's got to bring the young guys through.
I did
and
message
pick a new
him.
Welsh
I did
coach.
message him saying, congratulations. This was about a month ago when the news first broke. I didn't get a message back from him, and I was thinking. And then last week he said, "I'm so sorry to not message you," but he said I was, I couldn't message.
Busy.
him. I was busy.
I got to be honest. So you probably won't hear from him for about another 2 years.
Yeah, well, he won't
Because he'd be so busy.
I've now deleted his number. He's worked.
He's been around.
Worked with Clive in the Olympics. He went off and worked in football. And listen, there will be a little bit of resentment because he's English.
Yeah.
But listen, if he does the job,
Hey, if he turns this round, then we don't care. We don't care. You get in there and get the pathways. The pathways is the one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But before we finish on the Women's Six Nations, what are the positives and I suppose the negatives you take out from England's performance?
I think when they get it right, I think they're untouchable.
They're very good.
They're so, like you said, they're so far ahead of everybody else. I think the slight negative is if anybody else is watching that now, your Canada's, your New Zealand's, the other contenders for potentially a World Cup, there's sort of enough chinks in England to see if we can get our game plan right. There is holes in this England side that we can maybe capitalise on. But look, I think, Lol, you said it earlier, if that was ever going to happen to England, now is the time, because you've got 3 months, you've got a mini pre-season, you've got World Cup games to kind of iron out all your creases and make sure you hit the World Cup.
I mean, they're competition for places.
Yeah.
So people like Emily Scarrett, Marley Packer, people that have always been the number one stays. I mean, they're not even making the team at the moment, or they are, but are they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think what John Mitchell's done, he's created a lot of kind of, uncertainty, and so players have to play at their very
100%.
best
Are you
to
more
get their place in the team.
now, or were you more confident before the tournament started about England's chances World Cup?
Look, I don't think I think it is England's World Cup to lose. I think this is the first time that we've seen sides in the Six Nations genuinely challenge them. But they've only been able to challenge them for 40 minutes. I think ultimately England have, like you say, the depth, squad profiles to go and beat anybody. But I do think it's interesting that we've seen teams do something different that have worked and have pushed England close.
Right, Freddie, you're in the spotlight a little bit now. We're going to talk to you about your England career. Nothing to worry about, but you made your debut in 2021. You seem to be just ease in so easily, so comfortably. What do you think that was down to?
I think a bit of it was timing. I was fortunate. I came in, like you say, those 2 games against Canada and USA, and it was COVID at the time, so we only had 10,000 in the stadium, and they weren't massive to me. It was my World Cup final, but it was just like that gradual introduction to it. Then we had the autumn, first game was against Tonga, so it was just that steady sort of, this is international rugby, slow introduction. I just felt like that gave me an opportunity to sort of grasp it.
What did you find the biggest difference? Because I always ask players this, we've all played at that level, but was it the pace of the game? Was it the speed around decision making?
The best way I can describe it is everything that happens in rugby, you have to do that, but you think even quicker, everything happens quicker, tackles are harder, more physical. But it's like a different sport. People see, sometimes you look at the Premiership and the leagues and they go, this player would be unbelievable in international rugby, he's tearing up in the Premiership, but it's a different sport. Like, it's almost like a game of chess. You've got the best players in the world, best decision makers in the world. And not everything necessarily translates over to that. So.
And it does, and it changes your admiration or respect for other players that you played that normally you didn't particularly like them because they're from that club or this club or whatever. Then you actually, you spend time with those people and you realise you've got a lot in common actually, but also you think, God, they really are good.
They do it at the top level consistently, and that is an unbelievable feat.
Do you find club rugby can be attritional, international rugby, you're in the spotlight? Do you find international rugby maybe a little bit easier?
I think the one thing you know is when you step out in an England shirt, you know that the 14 lads next to you and the lads on the bench are giving absolutely everything. And you have that sort of comfort in the back of your mind. You're like, right, these lads have got my back, we're all going for it. Where you don't necessarily get that when you've got big squads in the Premiership, and sometimes but you have that absolute certainty, which is the best feeling in the world.
I've always wanted to ask about this, right? Because when you do, your video analysis and that, we look at line-outs, we look at scrums, you look at back row, we're into that. What do you look at? It's just, where should I put myself in the back?
I think the same thing for the forwards. It's nuts. But they are like different jobs.
Yeah, it's a totally different game, isn't it?
Yeah, I hear Wigan forwards meet, they're talking about line-out formations. I'm like, what the hell's that about? Just jump up and win us a ball. It's a simple. Like for us backs, it's like, win us a ball, if you don't, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so you backs, we all think, you're watching Friends and stuff like that when you go through your video analysis. What do you actually, do you do a lot of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of preview, so we'll look at how teams defend, if they're going to bring sort of a blitz defence, if they're going to be passive, and how we can manipulate that, how they run their backfield. So all the non-attritional bits, I guess, which is good. But like you say, it's like we have our responsibility in our job, the forwards have their responsibility. And when we don't do it, they have a go at us. And I mean, they're whacking each other in maul sessions and we're out there playing kick tennis.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
And then we come in the change rooms and go, God, how hard was that session today in the forwards?
The way you just said, just win us the ball and do your job and move on. If the backs lose the ball, I would, we as the number 8 say, right, you're not having it for the next 10 minutes. If you're gonna
my ball, I'm going home.
Exactly, my ball. When you first arrived in the England's team, who were the guys in the squad that allowed you to transition, that you kind of that helped you to relax? Because was there some experience there? Were there people that sort of put their arm around you and sort of helped you a little bit?
The one person that did really look after me was Ellis Genge. So he was a club mate of mine at Leicester at the time. And he was in that sort of tour. He wasn't with the Lions, so he was sort of a senior player there. And he just put his arm around me. Anything you need, any help, I'm there. And in the autumn, Joe Marler was brilliant with me as well. Went and chatted to him about sort of the environment and the atmosphere and how to deal with all those things.
These front row forwards, they're not, they get a reputation, but they're quite smart, really.
Was that Ellis Genge's phase when you had the hoodie with the glasses? I've never understood that. He used to turn up with the hoodie with glasses on.
He's honestly like he has. You get this impression of him if you don't know him. That he is hard. He's a proper hard guy. And he's tough.
I'd never say to his face.
But honestly, he's one of the best people inside. He's such a good guy, and he really cares about people he's around. So yeah, he's been a big part.
I want to talk to you about your World Cup journey in France, because you played in the England team, and then within a couple of years you're playing in that World Cup environment. And the preparation for that tournament wasn't the best. You lost to Fiji, then Owen and Billy are sort of banned, I think, and there was a lot of circling the wagons. But then that whole kind of World Cup run, you beat Argentina. I don't know, it was kind of circled the wagons a little bit, but it ended up agonisingly losing against South Africa. But just talk us through that journey.
It was my first experience of the whole lot, and it's such a long build-up. It doesn't really hit you that there's a World Cup round the corner until you step off the plane in France, and we had the marching band, and you get there, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is real. And we obviously lost to Fiji in the warm-ups, and the press were on us. We were under a lot of pressure, being told we weren't going to get out of the group stage, all this stuff. And I actually think that probably fueled us quite a bit. And we did believe, there was definitely a belief in the team. And I think when we beat Argentina well in the first game, that was sort of a message to ourselves, right, we can do this. And we obviously got ourselves into a semi-final in the knockouts. And when you get to that stage of the tournament, it's honestly anyone's. Anyone can win it. It doesn't matter who's there. You're in with a shout. And we executed that game plan so well, and unfortunately it just got away from us at the end. But it just shows, like, when we got ourselves together, we were written off, but when you pull in the same direction, you can...
The ladies won multiple World Cups, you know, and the men's won 03. Is there still chat about that? Is there still chat about the pressure, especially when you get to quarterfinals, semi-finals, you know what I mean? It hasn't been done for so long. And do you feel that weight of expectation?
It's sort of like an unspoken pressure. You almost just look at the bloke next to you on the bus and you can see behind his eyes. It's like, you know what's at stake and what's on the line. And when you win, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. And I think the way we went out, obviously we lost and we wanted to go through, but it was brilliant back home, the support we had.
So your England journey, and listen, for all of us, there's always a little bit of ups and downs. It's never in a straight line. It was really smooth at the start, you know, double player of the year, you know, consecutive years. And then you find yourself out the team, then you're back in against Ireland, then you're out the team again. And, you know, I mean, listen, no one's going to be happy with that. It's disappointing, right? You want to be in the starting lineup. But what's been your reaction to that? Have you found it at times, you know, you lock yourself in the room, like you get voodoo doll of your opposite number and just want to be like cursing it?
You know, those Lions tours, I always thought I had pain in my back. I was like, oh, as long as I got that dollar again.
I said it that. But I mean, how do you deal with that disappointment? Because you've got to deal with it privately, haven't you, really?
You have, yeah. And the hardest thing is you cannot get away from it. I think when you're in camp and you get the bad news, you're still there, and you just want to get out. You want to go on a drive or go back home, see the family, and just get away from it. But you can't. You still have to go. You have to turn up. You have to train and compete, and work to get back in the team. And I struggled with it at the start. I really did struggle. And I think you learn a lot about yourself and why you do it and what you do it for and those sorts of things. But like I said earlier, like my way of looking at it is just being positive and being happy. And when I realised that, I started enjoying it again.
I think we all realise that we all get shafted in selection at some point in our career. It's happened to us all. So it just happened to you a little bit earlier than possibly you would have liked.
It's harder when it's people that you actually like. Some of your mates that you're sort of getting dropped for will take your position. I always think it's easier if it's someone that you're not too fond of.
So the question is, do you like them?
Is it harder to deal with?
I think so, because you are happy for them and you want them to do well, but you also, that's your be-all and end-all. You want to be in the shirt and you want to do it. So it's like, it's a bizarre position to be in. And I spoke to a psychologist about it and he framed it to me. He was like, you either compete with someone else and it's that one-on-one, or you compete with yourself. And for me, that was how I did it. I wanted to compete with myself and where can I be better rather than he does this, I want to do that.
You must get a little bit disappointed when a fly half gets picked in your position.
Yeah, I think that was,
Marcus Smith, especially when he's potentially, he's one of your mates as well, isn't he?
Exactly, and when you've played that position your whole life and you that's your craft, and it's hard to see and it's frustrating.
You tell him, can you stick to fly half, please?
Stop being greedy.
Piss off.
But England rugby is in that position where there's so much strength now in all these positions, and competition for places is unbelievable. So, yeah, it's not been easy, but look, I keep working at it.
And listen, delivering good news and bad news is part of a job as a coach. But when they deliver bad news, say that you're out the team and you have been for a little while, this is what you need to do to get yourself back in the team?
Well, I've always wanted to be that player who wants to know. I don't want to get the airy-fairy and, you need to do that and go away and not really know. Like I said to Steve, right, what do I need to do to get back in the team? And he gave me a clear idea, which is what I needed.
What was it?
Attacking side of the game. Right. Obviously, I've got that high ball ability, but it's trying to be more well-rounded and add that other stuff as well. I was beaten a few times one-on-one at the back, which I was disappointed with. So I had to go away and work at that, which has been a big key for me. So, yeah, just little bits.
Is there part of you that just wishes that maybe you were playing 15 with Finn Smith? Because England attack seemed to get... he seems to get more out of his backline, I think.
Finn he's a very intelligent... I describe him as an intelligent player. He's really good at bringing structure to the game, playing on top, picking holes through the line. And he's, like I say, he's a fly-half you want to play with. I think England are so lucky. You've got Marcus, Fordy, Finn. All unbelievable. I think they'd be in most international setups starting, but unfortunately they're all English, so it's difficult. But they've all got their strengths, and to be honest, I'd be happy to play with all three of them. I just want to be in the 15 show.
Do you think going back, because your form in Leicester now was outstanding, and Leicester's form's outstanding as well. Do you think going back and working on those is making you a better player and your play? Because you always play with a smile on your face. You come in here this morning with a smile on your face, and you seem to enjoying it. Do you enjoy the Leicester way of play as well?
100%. I struggled last year when I first got dropped. I felt like I was playing with sort of a weight on my shoulders, and you think you have a point to prove, and it's like, I need to show him, I need to do this. I've got to be a different player than who I am. And then I realised I just be yourself. Yeah. Stick to what got you there and add bits on. And Chex has come in, Michael Cheika, he's been brilliant. He's such a good motivator. And he's just given us this sort of, he's freed us up a bit, and he's just made me find that enjoyment again for the game.
Well, it's interesting. I want to talk about psychology and the mental side of the game, because I've always been a big believer that, if you believe, things happen, then they tend to. You've worked with a guy called David Priestley, a sports psychologist. I'm interested to understand. I mean, in our day, my mum was my psychologist. She told me everything I needed to know about how to win or not. And I'm sure, Scott had his father. There's different people that we've lent on throughout our career. Did any of you? Did you guys?
Yeah, we had a really good psych when we were in 2014, and a lot around like individual stuff, knowing yourself, but also culturally as well, made a massive difference.
I'm just fascinated to know what it is that you were seeking with him. Was it to do, because they can't actually play the game for you, but
no,
just a bit more strength.
And Dave has worked in all sorts of sports, so it's not necessarily it's the rugby stuff that he's so good at. It's just that sort of performance mindset. And when I first started playing for England, I was naive. I thought I didn't really appreciate the need for the mental side of the game. I thought, you just do it, sort of thing. And if it's going wrong, you speak to your mum and dad. But Dave did a few workshops, and I thought, I'll give it a go and see what it's about. And since then, he's been brilliant. And it changes every week. It might be someone I think one week I go and speak to him about, and the next week that. But the whole way through, he's been fantastic for me. Almost like a counsellor as well. Not always a psychologist, but it's good to have people who you can just go away and speak to about all sorts.
Without breaking any codes here, 2 or 3 things that he gave you to think about or work on, because it's clearly not about catch pass, all the skills and aspects. It's more about how you...
Top 3 inches.
A lot of it was about preparation for games, so he gave me a framework. I won't give too much away because he won't be very happy with me, but it's sort of along the lines of what I can control, what I can't control. So basically just narrow my focus, giving me things not to think about, things I need to think about. And then another thing he was brilliant with was in the game when things are hitting the fan, how do I bring myself back to it? Because I was bad. I'd make a mistake, I'd knock the ball on, and then 20 minutes later I'd still be under the post thinking about it. What could I have done differently, and not worrying about the next thing I'm doing. So
interesting. Can I ask a question? You, as a fullback, you spend a lot of time where you might not be without the ball, and do you find, you've obviously got the whole noise around, do you find you commentate the game to yourself? Because you've got your back 3 now, and I know your 2 wingers work really well with you, and you're talking all the time, supposedly. Some don't talk that much at all, do they really? But I just find it, you must have to keep thinking, you must have to commentate the game to yourself.
Yeah, you do.
You find yourself doing that?
It is bizarre, because you're so far behind the line, you almost feel disconnected. But you're worrying about, is the 10 going to kick the ball? But then you're worrying about your wingers, where they are. So you are really commentating the game, but at the same time, you're communicating it out loud. So I'm telling the wingers, it's just constant, so I'm not getting distracted or anything like that.
Do you think, with Leicester in mind, that when you've had a lot of coaches in the last 5 years, Steve and Wiggy come in, and of course now Cheika. Do you think that is the way? Have they wanted you to play differently, change things? Because you just said under Michael Cheika, you enjoy your new rugby. That's important as well.
Yeah, and like consistency for me is massive, and I think that's one thing where we've struggled at Leicester over the last couple of years, is we haven't had that sort of 5-year coach who's been there a long time. And you look at the teams like the Saracens era, where they have the same coach. Exeter, Rob Baxter, when they won the double, been there for years, and you need that so you can build and build and build and build. So, I hope whoever comes in next is going to be here for long term. I think we need that. We need a bit of stability.
I mean, I agree with you. Trust and consistency is what creates a winning team over many years. But you haven't got that, because everyone's leaving who's not. But yet you're still second in the Prem after that big win. And things seem to be coming to a boil at the right time for Leicester.
Yeah, I think we're hitting a bit of form in the exact point of the season that you want to. And I was saying the same about Sale Sharks earlier. They're sort of hitting that peak as they're coming into it. But Cheika is sort of, it's like he's fast-tracked what a coach would do over 3 years, he's done in a season. So all the team bonding stuff, everything outside of rugby, he's very clever. And he's done all those things, so it feels like he's almost been here for more than he has.
Do you feel like you've had a licence to play a little bit more under Michael Cheika? Because Obviously, you're brilliant under the high ball, but there's obviously a lot more to your game than that. There's lovely in and out a couple of weeks ago around the left-hand side, showing your pace. Do you think you've been given a bit more of a free license to go out there and play?
Yeah, I think with Peter Hewitt, our attack coach, who's been brought in this season, has been absolutely brilliant for us because he's given us his plan where we are running the ball more and we're taking on space and stuff. And it also helps when you've got a two-time World Cup winner inside you and he's pulling strings. I'm grateful to those lads because it's a pleasure to play with.
I'm going to ask you about Pollard because he broke your heart, broke our hearts in the World Cup. But he's back with you at Leicester. What have you learned? What do you take from players like that who have been there, done it, wherever they've been all over the world?
What I love about Polly is he is such a nice guy, and he is so ice cool. It's hard. You don't often see players like that. Sometimes when the pressure's on, you see players and you see how it sort of affects them and stuff. That guy, like, you've seen him kick the goal in that semi-final. As soon as they had the penalty, I thought, he's just one of those guys that turns up in big moments, big game player. And when you have someone like that in your team, it almost gives you more confidence as well, because you know when the pressure's on, he's going to do it. But I remember that World Cup semi-final, I got drug tested afterwards. Sat in the room, guess who walks in? Handré Pollard's drug tested as well, and I thought he's the last bloke I want to see.
I just
broke my heart. I've got to sit next to him.
Was it like an F1? You know, when the first, second, third, were we all there? Who spoke first?
I did. But testament to Polly, he is such a legend, and he was happy just to chat and console me.
Do you still think about that last 5 minutes of that game? Because you put a kick up that, if I'm honest, could have been a bit further. That's what I'd have been telling you as your captain. And then...
welcome to the pod. Welcome to the pod.
Well, no, you're right. I've got to get it out in the open. But it's
Go for your chest, Lol.
It's the elephant in the room, But listen, we gave away 4 scrum penalties in the last 5 minutes of the game, and we still had a chance to win the game. And ultimately, it came down to a scrum penalty. But as a collective, you're going, we probably should have been a bit further up.
100%. And I thought about that. I still think about it today. Even it's stuff like that never really escapes you.
Because you played outstanding, mate.
And the frustrating thing is, because it was me, I kicked the kick too short, they have the scrum, the ball goes over, there's no hiding from that, and I'd go back there in a heartbeat to go back and think, you idiot, why don't you just whack the ball long? But saying that, there's still 4 minutes on the clock, who knows what would have happened? And that's sort of what I tell myself to stop me getting in that rabbit hole.
You can't affect the past, you can only affect the future.
Wise words.
Sorry, I'll send you the bill after.
So if I am in that situation again, I've had that experience, I'm not going to do it again. So you need, it's a shame it happened in a World Cup semi-final, but you need stuff like that to, next
push you forward.
Exactly.
Push you forward. You can't have you in here because Ben Young's a friend of yours, because you're from the same part of Norfolk as well, and he's retiring, and of course he's had the most caps for men's game and wonderful career. You've played with him for so long. It's going to be a huge loss.
Massive loss. He is, one of the best to ever do it from any country. He is, it speaks for itself, what he's achieved, what he's done. And more importantly, he's a great bloke. And people always say, obviously your achievements and stuff, people remember you for that, but what more they remember you for is how you were as a person and as a player. So he's been massive for Leicester, and he'll be dearly missed. He's kind of going to leave this void and this hole in leadership, the changing room. It's just everything about what he brings to the club. And when he was at England is going to be missed massively, but he deserves it. He deserves to live a quiet life. He's be on the beers. He puts weight on when he looks at food, so he's going to be about 200 kilo in a couple of weeks.
I love that. Now that he's put his retirement out there at the end of the season, it feels like you guys have now got a focus around trying to not send him off on high, because you can't write your own scripts really, but it does feel like Cheika's leaving, he's retiring, there's a bit more clarity around what's happening.
Definitely, and I think we went through that purple patch in the middle of the season. You don't know who's staying and going, his check's there and his check going, everyone's a bit up in the air and there's too many distractions around. Now that's all sorted. Then he's announced his retirement. We all want to send him off with a Premiership trophy because he deserves it. You've got Pollard leaving, Montoya leaving, they deserve a trophy on their way out. So I think that's sort of, the playing group just want it for them. And that's important.
Well, you've got a really good chance. Now, you're a fullback, bloody good one as well. Thought we'd take this opportunity to go through the panel here and go through best 15s that you've played with or against? I'm looking at you first, KDM.
That's very kind of you. Probably best fullback I played with, Nolly Waterman. Her footwork, ability to beat players, pace. Like she was
brave as well.
Yeah, really brave at the back. One of those that you're like, oh, it's all right, line break. Nolly will solve that problem.
Yeah, Scotty.
Well, I actually coached Lee Byrne.
So you say I'm going to court Lee Byrne?
Coached him. Yeah, I taught him nothing he knows. Absolutely nothing.
You didn't coach anything out of him either.
No. We're gonna kick it for whatever you like because it goes about 70 yards. Absolutely, no problem at all. Kick it, you can kick. You can run. Run. What should I do, your coach? I don't know, whatever you feel like. Absolutely brilliant. And the one that I was lucky enough to do a Christian Cullen.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, good one.
Oh,
the GOAT.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I was going to mention it.
I get lost in Christian Cullen on social media. You go, oh, that's a nice, and then half an hour later, you're still watching him run tries in from 100 yards. You know, he was class. I mean, absolutely class.
Freddie mentioned Lee Halfpenny. Yeah. I mean, for me, when you grow up watching certain fullbacks, Serge Blanco was the man, mate. It was incredible because, you know, that unpredictability, that kind of in a completely different era. I mean, he was...
And is it true that he stopped smoking and put about 2 stone on, and they said to him, look, mate, you're going to have to smoke 40 a day. You know what I mean?
It's clearly
should I do some runs? No. You know, here's a pack of Regal.
I think to watch him was incredible. I think for me, Matt Perry was very underrated as an England fullback, and loved him.
Good guy as well.
But obviously, the sort of modern day Christian Cullen would be Jason Robinson. To do what he did in such a short space of time as well. Imagine if he'd played Union all his life.
Yeah, scary.
It's absolutely scary. But
Chris Latham for me was
a
nightmare to play against for Australia. 15.
Yeah.
Big bloke, great kicker of the ball, just lethal, like footwork and strong. But playing with Lee Byrne, again, left boot, like a missile, but great in the air. Used to hit the line so well on the outside.
Well, that's what I taught him.
And at pace.
Yeah. That's what I said to him.
You talked about Lee Halfpenny, but what about playing with and against in the game now?
Have you played with many fullbacks?
Not many, but...
Sorry, Lon. Sorry. He looked at me. You
got the look as well.
Give me the look. I know what you feel like now.
No, Lee Halfpenny growing up was... I just loved him. I just loved him. He was so brave, unbelievable kicker.
Yeah, as a grown-up,
highballed a lot.
He's tiny.
Yeah.
But maybe guys that you look at that don't play for England and that you don't play against, or you do play against, but not for England, would you admire now in the modern game?
I would have loved to have played against Izzy Folau. The way he dominated the air, his pace, his power, he had sort of all those attributes. So I would have loved to have played.
I'd give George Northring because he's still got him as a backpack, and he.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, son. Come on, son.
So iconic.
That was brilliant.
And drove him back. Your guard is one of the best in the air. And is that something like naturally you were good at from a kid, or was it something you really had to practice?
Not really.
Shall I show you? Stand up. Shall I show you why he's good in the air?
Hello. You're not scared of heights.
I'm on my tiptoes as well.
You're not scared of heights or anything like that, are you?
I am scared of heights. We've got a group trip to Alton Towers tomorrow, so I'll be...
Oblivion.
Yeah, school trip.
Oblivion, yeah.
That's the best right
It
about
just drops you, doesn't it?
Honestly, so I was there with my kids, the kids are small, we get to the top, we're going to go Oblivion, and it pops open. The actual belt popped open. And I went like that, and they said, stop!
I'm surprised it popped closed.
Yeah, well, right. So they come up, they climb up, and he puts his foot on it, cracks it back down, puts the belt in, and I'm holding my daughter's hand there, my son hand there, and they go, off you go, and I'm like, dit. I'm like, no!
That didn't fill you with trust, does it?
I always
Best
look at the
ride I've
rides.
ever been on in
I was
my
going to
life.
say, when you got that
Best
fear.
ride ever.
I always look at rides because I hate scary rides, but sometimes you've got to go on them. I always look where the cameras are.
Teacups?
I always look where the cameras are. Close my eyes, and then when
Bosses.
you see the camera coming, I'm like that.
That's done and done, isn't it?
But back to
Sorry, what was the question anyway? What was the question?
your technique under the high ball, naturally or just work hard.
I mean, being tall does help,
Yeah.
obviously, because it gives you that already sort of that height.
You always at
advantage.
15 when you were young.
Played 12 a lot. That was where I played at school and at club, and then almost not really out of choice. I was in the Leicester Academy, and the coach I mentioned earlier, Jamie Taylor, said to me there were a lot of really good centres, and there weren't as many good fullbacks, and it was sort of like an opportunistic. well, I'll give that a crack. If that's my way in, I'll give that a crack, and never look back. But you don't really take high balls in the academy because that's not really the style of rugby. So it wasn't until I really debuted that for Leicester where I sort of realised, I can be good at this. This can be sort of my niche. And once I identified that, it was just hard work, like you say, just practice.
Are you a fan of the new rules where you're not allowed to shield?
The fan of them, he wrote them.
I paid them off.
But there's more pressure on you. You've got to be a lot braver. But because you're probably better than most people at that position, that's sort of maybe your USP.
Yeah, I think it brings it to the fold even more so because you can't hide. You can't hide. You have to be good at it. And now you've got guys going in and just slapping the ball back. It makes it so much harder. I think before you could be there and you're like, right, the lads are going to come and bubble. I can just go up, catch the ball. That's just hand-eye. But now you've got lads clattering into each other. It's definitely harder, but I mean, I think it's brilliant. It creates a lot more loose balls and you're seeing turnover attack on the back of it. Because I think a lot of people said, right, there's going to be more scrums because there's going to be more knock-ons, but it's not really happened that way. It's actually lads are diving on loose balls, we're seeing turnover attack, so I think it's been good.
I think that's one of the best law changes we've had for a long time.
Could we see you at 12 at any point? We've seen Tommy Freeman at 13. I mean, do you actually say to Steve Borthwick, you do realise I can play 12 as well? Or because I don't,
Geordie Barrett?
Looking at you now and understanding how what footballing ability you have, why would you not play there?
Yeah, I would never say no to that opportunity. It would be very different because, like you say, at fullback you're sort of out of the game, and I think being in that would be a new experience. But I would love to do it. I'd enjoyed playing there when I was younger, and like I say, if that's my way back in, I'd take that opportunity with both hands. I'd love to do it.
Stick to Rugby is brought to you by Defender.
Christian Wade, changing codes, chasing the Yankee dollar like you did off to Wigan. Is that something that you'd ever consider? Would you consider playing rugby?
You know what? The one sport I have considered a switch to, genuinely, is the AFL in Australia.
Oh, high ball.
I find that amazing. And they just run around and they kick and catch high balls, which is what I love doing. So it's an amazing sport. The way they climb on each other's backs, all that stuff.
God, they do some kilometres in that, don't they?
Oh, they do. They run. I'd have to lose a bit of weight.
Who's your team, buddy?
Who do I like the most? Sydney Swans.
Right.
A mate of mine played some rugby out in Sydney, and he went and seen the AFL and got some jerseys and stuff. So I don't follow it religiously, but I love the YouTube clips.
You got the guy. You just want to have the old cut-off tops, innit? The old guns out.
Get it shoulder charge around in a vest.
You'd have to, dodgy
tap.
Did you watch a lot of that, like when you were younger?
Not properly. I watched a little bit of it last year. So Neil Craig, who used to work with Eddie at England, he's got an AFL background, and he sort of introduced me to it, and we used to watch a few clips.
It's such a big part now, isn't it? Catching the ball, and you look at all the training drills they do. You've got players with like bags on their shoulder, and then you've got to climb up and sort of use them, don't you, as a springboard?
Yeah, they've got they call them the turtle shells. So you get one of the S&C interns, bless them, we'll get it on the back and we'll just whack them in the back and they'll walk off like this. But it's probably the closest thing you can replicate that collision without getting silly.
In fairness, Dave Allred, when he was coaching in 2003, had come back from Aussie rules and had everyone doing it, not just the back three, everyone catching the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a lot we can learn from them lot. It's different because they can attack it from all angles, whereas we're sort of front on. But yeah, the way they do it, they're the best in the world.
Scotty, how do you reckon Christian Wade is going to get on?
I think he's going to do brilliantly.
Hardest game in the world.
Hardest game in the world, lad.
I think he's going to be brilliant. He's got the pace. If you've got pace, and especially in any sport, if you've got pace, maybe not ping pong or something like that. But if you're playing a contact sport, he's up there. They will love him. He can get on the outside. I'd say to him, you know what I mean? If somebody makes a break, just get on the shoulder because that's all you can do. Sean Edwards used to score tries after try because he just got in. You make a break, you got a full back to beat, you pull somebody. So first couple of games, get on a shoulder. He's going to score tries.
But also, you've got to do the first two carries, haven't you, as a winger, when the ball's kicked. You basically are...
well, if you're coming back and you've got to come back around, yes, because then you're proper, your second row will take second, third, fourth. But then as soon as if somebody makes a break, then you get on shoulders. You get on shoulders, and he will score so many tries.
It's about creating mismatch. And I know as a forward, if you're caught out in the open spaces, the last person you want to see in front of you is Christian Wade. Because not only has he got pace, but the footwork and the ability to move.
I just think he likes kit. You know what I mean? I genuinely, we all love Stash, but you know what I mean? You go there, he's got pads on, he's got everything, you know what I mean? He's got the NFLs, he's got Wasps, he's got Racing, he's got Gloucester, you know what I mean? Now he's got Wigan, he just loves Stash. Can you imagine his attic?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just wanted him to score 10 more tries so he takes Chris Ashton's try-scoring record before he goes.
I know.
They've got a couple of games, haven't they? They've got playoffs as well.
The way Gloucester are going.
What's he like to play against? Wadey, have you had a one-on-one with him?
Yes, and come off worse off. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's one of those wingers. He's like in that Ashy mould. They don't score tries because they're quick. They score tries because they're intelligent. Like they're always in the right place at the right time. Ashy was one of the best wingers I've ever played with, and I got him at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Because he was just always on the shoulder, like you said.
Shoulders.
Any break.
Greedy, basically.
If he's a right winger, there'll be a break on the left touchline. Ashley's there.
Yeah.
It's like he teleports, but he's so smart and he reads the game so well, like Christian Wade.
Right, it's nearly time to let you go, I promise. But before that, we do like a quiz, so we've got another one for you. Okay, this one's teammate. So I'm going to give you a few scenarios, and we want to know which of your England teammates you would select to assist you in these certain scenarios. You basically can only pick one per activity. So organise a social.
Organise a social. Ellis Genge, he's got a few spots, he always brings the fun. You've got to be careful with him when he's on the beers because he gives you a little slap.
Fast fish face.
And when he gives you a slap, it hurts.
A teacher lesson at school.
Teacher lesson, Sam Underhill. He's a wise old
Hey.
trooper. Yeah, he's very smart. He's got some
Geography
niche
or history?
History, I reckon.
History.
Yeah, he'd be good. Calm presence, he'd be good at that.
Try to pass SAS selection.
Tom Curry. He's just, you can't break him. Everyone tries to break him and he's just unbreakable. He's
Keeps
a
coming
machine,
back.
so he'd, fly through.
Cook a 3-course meal with.
Harry Randall. We had a weird one. We did like a cookery school thing when we were in York in a fellow week, and he was opposite me, and he cooked. Steak's not that hard to cook, is it? But he was brilliant.
Got to get it right, though, haven't you?
Yeah, he was good at it. Seasoning, he had all the seasoning and the pizzazz. So yeah, Harry Randall.
Go skydiving with.
Skydiving with Ollie Chesham because he's terrified of heights. So that would be good fun, wouldn't it? Well, I am too, so we'd both be in trouble.
This is my favourite. Open the batting in the Ashes.
You play a bit of cricket as a team?
Used to, yeah. Oh, well, we warm up all the time. Yeah. That's literally our go-to. If we have any unit session, we'll be straight into a bit of cricket. Probably Finn Smith. Yeah. He's just hand-eye. He's one of those blokes. He's just good at everything. And he's got like that composure. He'd be like speech in the middle, he'd keep you calm. He'd just, build nicely.
Right. Attempt a rally car race, but who would drive and who would navigate? They're good, aren't they?
Really good.
Good questions.
So would you drive or navigate?
I'd be driving, 100%. That'd be dangerous. Fordy I'd have in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I can see like
He's
left,
just a clear
right.
communicator.
Yeah.
He'd keep me nice and calm when we're near misses and stuff. He'd be,
I love that.
He'd be the man in the seat, yeah.
Right. Who would you have caddy for you in a golf tournament?
Ooh, that is a good one. Marcus Smith, because he just brings a bit of energy. He's good crack. And you bring me down and up when I need to be down and up.
You put loads of water in your bag.
Exactly.
Sandbags in there. Right, run a farm.
Run a farm. Jack Van Portfleet, he's from a farming background.
Nice.
He's studying business and whatnot, so he'd rule the
Good lad.
there.
And then the final one, redecorate your home.
Oh, wow.
Any builders?
There's not really, no tradies. Ollie Slightholme's very hands-on. I reckon he'd do a decent job.
Nice.
He's done up his house, I think, so I'd have him in. He'd do the works.
Well, listen, thank you, Freddie, for coming on the show.
But before you go,
Frederick,
we've got a piano. Can you play the piano? Can you play the piano?
The guitar, right?
And all the very best for the rest of the seasons, for the Premiership, and for whatever tour you end up being on this summer, because you are going away somewhere. Pack your bags. You're definitely going away. Just who knows where. So thank you.
No, thank you.
What a brilliant guest.
Thank you very much.
Good man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let's hit Tiffins.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.